From the Groove Remains production team studios in the Netherlands. My name is Mixmaster G and I hear that we have some feedback. The feedback is fixed. My name is Mixmaster G and welcome to this live stream. My mission is not to sell you as many apps as I can. No, my mission is to educate and teach you about collection management and conversion for DJs. So you save yourself more time for the fun and creative part of being a DJ. This stream will be a live stream all about Big Sur, the new macOS for DJs. And while at it, let me introduce myself. My name is Mixmaster G. I call myself a retired DJ from the Netherlands, which means I'm not actively playing, just every now and then a little gig, but nothing substantial anymore. However, I'm doing this stuff for more than 40 years now, which means I have a huge amount of knowledge. On top of that, I'm an official, acknowledged by Apple Inc. Product specialist for Mac, and that means that I know a lot about this stuff. And I make apps, and maybe you know me from the DJ conversion utility, software to convert from various DJ software into each other, maintaining the queue points. The chat will be monitored by Yvette. Say hi to Yvette if you are in the chat. Which also means that if you've got questions, feel free to ask them, and we will see what we can do about it to answer them. So there is an active monitoring of the chat going on right now. Big Sur, the new macOS, and what is important to realize is that it's not just a macOS update. Apple also changed hardware platforms. We now have got two hardware platforms that are in use. One uses the Intel CPU, the Intel Central Processing Unit, and the other one uses new chips called the M1 chip right now. And the M1 chip is an ARM chip, and we already know it because it is what Apple uses in the iOS devices. Basically what is happening under the hood is that iOS, the OS that works on portable devices, and macOS, the Macintosh operating system, integrate ever so slowly together. Now, under the hood, this is a huge technical achievement because those two processors are entirely different, and that means that they don't understand from each other what they are doing. So there needs to be a translation going on between what used to be the Intel processor and what is now the M1 processor, and that translator in between is called Rosetta. And I'm from the age that I've had three passed switches or two-pass switches of hardware by Apple before. Namely, we have switched from the 68000 Motorola processor to the IBM/Apple RISC processor, and then from RISC to Intel, and I've been through that all. And this is not very different from that. What you need to keep in mind is that Big Sur basically comes in two flavors. You have the Big Sur that runs on Intel, and you have the Big Sur that runs on M1, the new hardware. And that also means that things that might work on Big Sur for Intel don't work on Big Sur for M1, and that is because the translator is only active on the M1 part, and on the Intel processor there's no translation needed right now. It will shift later on. For now, every software, or almost every software out there, needs to go through that translator, needs to go through Rosetta in order to run on M1 hardware. And that means that can take a hit on performance, simple as that, because stuff needs to be interpreted. But that also means that some things that used to work flawless don't work anymore. And then I'm meaning specifically drivers. What is a driver? Well, if you have any DJ hardware, you have a mixer, you have a controller, you have a player, and that needs an installer to function, that is a driver. That installer installs a driver, and that driver translates everything that goes on in, let's say, Rekordbox or in Traktor, in Serato, to the actual controller. those drivers most likely will not work anymore. As a rule of thumb, if your device is, and we call that class compliant, which means if it just acts as an audio interface, then it will work. But the moment it requires special software to enable all the tricks that are on the controller or on the hardware, it will not work anymore. And that is regardless of M1 or Intel platform. I've done some testing, and most software will work. Maybe there are some things that won't work anymore. For instance, on Recordbox 5, I cannot go to the preferences on Big Sur, because the moment I do that, it will crash. I will show you that in a moment. But other things like loading a track and your basic stuff works, but it's not very stable. There is, when we do this stream, no software apart from algorithms DJ, because that's another category, but no software of the big four that says, all right, we work flawless on Big Sur, which means I don't recommend you going to Big Sur if you rely on your software to work without any problems. I'm always of the camp that if you are not forced by your mission critical software or your mission critical tasks, and you really don't need the extras that a new update gives you, then don't update. And Big Sur is no exception there. If you don't really need to be on Big Sur for whatever reason, then don't update right now. I'm telling you this months before Big Sur went public. I was in the developer beta as well, and this has been my mantra for a long time now. Don't update if you don't need it. However, to my surprise, I get just a few questions from users of my tools about Big Sur and them being updated to Big Sur. And that updating can be by accident, because the Apple software update overnight decided for you that it's time to go to Big Sur, and in that case you are completely cooked. Or it can be that they tried it because they thought, hey, it's the biggest and newest, I want it. Either way, don't do it. Don't do it. One of my big issues with Big Sur, aside from if it is stable or if it's not stable, and trust me, Apple did a tremendous job on this. It's pretty stable, everything works okay-ish, nothing bad there. There is right now no software, not my trustworthy carbon copy cloner and nothing else, that can make a bootable backup of a Big Sur machine. And as some of you might know, bootable backups are my bread and butter. I need bootable backups. I must be able to back up my internal startup drive to an external drive or to an external partition, because when the shit hits the fan, I want to be able to just boot from that backup instead of my internal drive and continue like nothing happened. And right now, because Apple did some tricks with making some security measures in Big Sur, it's not possible to back or to clone a startup drive with Big Sur on it to an external volume. That's not possible. Carbon Copy Cloner has found some ways around it. The way to do it right now is clone Big Sur as you would always clone using Carbon Copy Cloner. For those who don't know what Carbon Copy Cloner looks like, let me take you by the hand and show you. This, my friends, is Carbon Copy Cloner. I'm not affiliated with Boombitch Software, the makers of Carbon Copy Cloner, but this has been my backup software for as long as I'm on OS X. The moment OS X came out, which was the first OS X, so it was a lion, or no, it was some kitten. I don't remember the name, but the first macOS X came out, and I needed to find new ways to make bootable backups, because with Systems 9 and System 8 that was rather simple, but with the OS X it was slightly difficult. And the guys from Carbon Copy Cloner were back then the first one who could make reliable bootable backups. It was even shareware at that time. It was free and you could donate if you liked it. Right now it's not free anymore, but it has a 30-day trial period and it's worth any penny, trust me. And what you do is basically, as you see right here, in the source you drag your source drive, in the destination you drag your destination drive, you press clone and you walk away. And Carbon Copy Cloner will make a clone of that drive. And that drive will be bootable if it is not on Big Sur. So, not having an easy way to make a bootable backup of a drive is one of the reasons why I don't like to go to Big Sur. The guys from Carbon Copy Cloner have said two things. First of all, why isn't this? Oh, this should be working. Hold on, my cam is fighting me. Ah, there we are. First of all, if you make a copy with Carbon Copy Cloner of a Big Sur drive, that drive will not be bootable, of course, but everything will be on that drive. Now you can make that drive bootable again by starting the Big Sur installer, and more about that later, and then install it on the backup. So basically you are installing Big Sur over the already installed Big Sur, and that will make that drive bootable with everything intact. So that's one way to make kind of a bootable backup. It's not as slick as I would like it to be. The other thing is, with the developer betas that are going on right now, we are on 11.1, so not 0.1 but 11.1 for the developers beta. The developer beta, Apple enabled making of bootable backups again. So as soon as that big update hits, and I expect it to hit fairly quickly because there are some things that Apple needs to fix anyway, so I expect them to release it quickly. Then the bootable backups using Carbon Copy Cloner will return. So that will be a huge time saver. Now, if you think, hey, Mixmaster, gee, but I really want to go to that, I really want to go the Big Sur way, there are a few things you can consider. First of all, if you are on an Intel Mac, make sure you have that bootable backup of your current system. Buy a ton of hard drives. They are not expensive. It's still Cyber Monday week, whatever. So you buy them for a few pennies, buy them, run Carbon Copy Cloner. Make sure you have a recent bootable backup and test that backup. Test if you can start your computer from that backup. And you test that by powering down your computer. Then while you hold down the Option key, the Alt key, that key right there on your keyboard, press your computer on and keep that key pressed, that L, Alt or Option key, and the Mac will tell you which bootable drives it detected, and you can use the cursor keys to select which drive you want to start up from, press return, and that way you can double check that your backup is working, because you don't have a backup if you haven't checked if it is working. So first make sure you have a bootable backup. Then the second thing you can consider is installing it just on a simple USB drive. So for instance, this is an SanDisk Extreme Go 3.1, very fast drive. Just install it on it. Instead of installing Big Sur, running the installer, you get at a certain point, let me see if I can get it on the screen. Why not? I'm not sure if, I think, no, this is too risky. Folks, I can do it during a stream. Why not? Because most likely the installer will quit all apps, including OBS, so it will kill my stream. But usually when you use a macOS installer, it will ask you which drive do you want to install on, and then you can select which drive you want to install on, and you can, for instance, take the USB drive. If you formatted it as the macOS extended using a GUID, a guide, a partitioning scheme, and let me show you what that looks like, because that can be rather tricky. Let's put this in. Let's just show you how you should prepare that. It's already got Catalina on it. This was one of my test drives. More about that later in a moment, because this is important stuff. But right now, if you want that, go to Disk Utility, you check the drive, and if you don't have this kind of menu, that means that you are running in this view. and then you only have the top levels. And in the top levels you cannot specify your partitioning scheme, and you want to do that. So what's easier is just show all devices, Command 2, like right there. Then you see all the devices connected, and we say we want the SanDisk Extreme, or let's take the IC box, the Pruts drive, erase. Then you name it, let's call it installer or test macOS. macOS extended is fine, and here you say guide partitioning map. The last one is important because that allows it to become a bootable device. Now, I have to wait for it. And if I would like to make a backup of, for instance, my current system, I could just use carbon copy and install it, or I could run. I can try it with that macOS Catalina installer. Let's hope it doesn't. That's fine. Here we are. So you get this message. This is Catalina, but you have the same in Big Sur. You can say show all drives, and there you can say no, I want to install it on that drive, and then hit install, and it will start the installation on that particular drive, which means everything on your internal drive remains unharmed. So this is the way you can quickly install Big Sur on an external drive. Then again you use the Alt or the Option key while your computer is powered off. Switch it on and you can select that drive to start up from. Alternatively, you can go to your system preferences and then to startup drive, startup disk, there it is. You can open that one, and then you can tell, alright, I want to start up from whatever volume you click it, whatever volume you want to start up from. If you then reboot your Mac, it will reboot from that particular drive. I rather like to use the Alt method because I don't want to make those changes permanent. I want to be able to just yank the drive out and then start up from my internal drive like nothing has happened. So that's one option to get an installation of Big Sur on a different drive than your internal drive. Now, if that is done, you have basically an empty drive. There is no information on that drive. And your Mac will ask you, because it is inside a Mac with another OS drive, because you did install it on an external, what you want to do when you start up. And if you choose that you want to take the data, the information from an existing macOS volume, and that is, I think, the first thing that is shown after Big Sur is installed, then it will ask you which drive, and you can take your regular internal drive, and then you can get all your software, your data, your music and whatever. Given that your USB is big enough to hold it, you can all migrate it to Big Sur, which means that basically you have two drives, your normal internal drive, which is holy and you don't want to mess with, and you've got an external Big Sur drive which you can play with as much as you like, just for testing, etc. Let me ask if there are questions. No questions yet. Then we can continue. If you don't use this method, there is a different method. You can use something, and that is hidden deep inside the utilities folder of every Mac, and that is the Migration Assistant. Here it is. And the Migration Assistant, it is also in Big Sur, is a piece of software that allows you to take user information from one drive into another drive. And one of the benefits of that is that you don't have to reinstall all your software. You don't have to worry about names of accounts. It will take everything from your mail settings to your printer definitions to your Rekordbox collection files, to everything. So this is pretty powerful, the Migration Assistant, and I urge you to use it the moment you move that. Now, for all those folks who are, hold on, I don't want that, who accidentally went to Big Sur. One of the things with Apple always is, that it's hard to move back, to go a version back once you are on a higher version. For instance, if you are on Big Sur, there is no way you can install Catalina or Mojave on it. The only way you can do that is, first of all, have that backup again. That is so important. Having that backup is crucial. But even if you have that backup, then if that backup is a Big Sur backup, you can of course start up from the Big Sur backup, but you cannot run a Mojave installer from it. Because the moment you start the macOS Mojave installer, Big Sur will complain about this is a lower version than currently installed. We cannot do that. So that's a big problem. Lucky enough, there are smart people in the universe who make it possible to do this. And for this, we are going to take a walk to what is called the Hackintosh community. And the Hackintosh community are basically folks who use regular Intel computers, like regular Windows computers, and because it's all Intel based and macOS is all Intel based, they make it possible to run on that particular Intel computer macOS. So basically you can run Mac on Windows. Most likely one of the reasons why Apple wanted to go to their own proprietary processor, so that's not possible anymore. But those Hackintosh guys, mind you, are pretty clever, very smart tools. One of those tools they make, and let me go to a site, it's called TonyMac86.com, you can see it right there. And TonyMac is one of the go-to landing pages for Hackintosh community. And if you go on TonyMac to the installation guides, let's see if we are there, if I can find what I'm looking for. Ah, something locked me out, that's a problem. Because I was looking for the downloads and then I want the UniBeast downloads, so those are on the TonyMac tools, I guess. Yes, you see a thing there called UniBeast. UniBeast Catalina, UniBeast High Sierra, UniBeast Mojave, MultiBeast. The UniBeasts are the one you are interested in. What UniBeast allows you to is create a bootable USB like the one you just saw, like this one, that is created using UniBeast on an, I think, Big Sur machine. I wanted to test that what I'm about to tell you really works, and it did work. So, for instance, let me log in there without you seeing this. There you go. Now I'm logged in. And let's go to the TonyMac tools again. Let's just show you how this works. Let's take UniBeast for Catalina and download it. Now, what you need before you can use UniBeast is, but those guides should be here. Let's see if they are already there. No, not there. Those are the ones. Under guides, folks, that's what I was looking for. Under guides, you can just pick whatever OS you want to have. So let's pick, for instance, I think this is Mojave 10.14. Indeed, it is Mojave. This will tell you which steps to perform to make a bootable USB drive using UniBeast and the official Apple macOS Mojave downloader. And again, you use this if you want to go back to a previous version of macOS, which is prevented by the current running OS on your computer. So this is the way you can go from, let's say, a Catalina machine to Mojave, but also from a Big Sur machine to Mojave. One of the crucial parts of it is that you download the official Apple installer for the particular OS you want to install. So for this, I should need the macOS installer for Mojave. And lucky for me, I still got it because I always save that stuff. So let me find on my spare drive where I left that. macOS installers, there they are. Big Sur betas. There's the macOS one. It looks like this. Install and you need to have that in your application folder. I can see in my application folder if I currently have something installed. No, nothing there. So I would have to drag it over, and because those installers are rather big, or I can try it for the Mojave. Why not? Let's do the full thing here. Let's do. And if you don't have the installer there, you need to go to the App Store and find it in the App Store. Now I have to admit, those things are deeply hidden in the App Store. For instance, I was looking for the Catalina installer earlier today, and let me show you what happens there. Go to the App Store, right there, and let's say Catalina. That is not macOS Catalina. Those are just some tools for Catalina. However, if you Google around a little bit, you come at this link and you will see macOS Catalina is still available on the store, and you can still get it. If you press get, it will be downloaded. Same with Mojave, same with High Sierra, same with every other macOS. It is in the App Store, but it's a pain to find. So what I usually do is I look for someone who already has all the links and then pull it off. And of course I have backups of all the macOS installers, which means I really don't need to have them on. Let me see if that one has already been copied over. It should be. You see there, install macOS Mojave is now in my applications, and usually you would run that and it will install macOS Catalina. That's not what we want to do. What we want to do is we want to use the UniBeast, and you can see right here the steps you need to take. So all I'm telling you is also explained on the Tony Mac x86 COM page. We already have the installer application, so that's good. The next step would be the UniBeast download for Mojave, and let's see if there is a link there to download it. No, I don't see it, so we have to go to the downloads, the Tony Mac tools, and there find the UniBeast for Mojave. There it is. And that's just a very small thing. If I press download, it will be downloaded. Like that. And most of the times if you fire it up, let's compress or unzip it. There we go. And then right click, open, because otherwise it will complain. And that's fine. And that's again your instructions, and that's fine too. And that's also fine. That's also fine. And here we come at the destination select. And the destination select, I want to have this one, but it doesn't allow me to select that destination. So let me reformat that drive again. Let me double check what format was used here. macOS extended. That's cool. Let's eject that one and just force eject is fine. Go back. Let's try this again if it will take it. Sometimes things can get a little bit messed up, but that's okay. And otherwise I have to reformat that drive for it. That's fine, that's fine, that's fine. Okay. Then we do it again, but let's do it MBR this time. I'm not completely sure that it needed to be guide or exFAT, so that's what kind of puzzles me. macOS extended is fine. Let's try the master boot record then. Test. Done. And start up the UniBeast again. And it still cannot find a partition drive. Alright, then let's just take, obviously it doesn't want to install on that drive, but then let's empty the regular USB you just saw. Send this USB. Erase. to avoid any confusion. And there you see I can select USB as a source. I can continue, I can see what happens if I install it on it. I don't need any options. Alright, Mojave. This is technical for the Mac, for the Hackintosh crowd. Just take the wavy boot mode. That's the important one. We don't need any graphics to be configured, and that's all your settings. Let's go. And it will create a bootable USB. Mind you, once this is done, we are not through. We would need to start up our Mac with this drive installed, holding down the Alt key. The next step, when you are started from that USB that is created right there, is before you install, format your internal hard drive, because right now that has the OS you don't want to use anymore because it was the non-compatible OS, maybe it was Big Sur. You have your backups, so it's safe to erase it, right? You have made your backup, you have checked your backup, and that means that at that point in time it's safe to erase, to format the drive, and then to install Mojave on it. So that way you can go back to basically whatever OS your computer supports. This is also very important for those people who right now still buy an Intel MacBook Air, an Intel MacBook Pro, an Intel iMac, because there is a risk that those Macs are equipped with Mojave or with Big Sur, but you can run them on Catalina because they were made for Catalina. And the only way to downgrade it is doing this stuff before you are going to use the computer. So make a bootable USB with Catalina on it, start from that particular USB, format our internal drive, install Catalina, and then migrate your old computer to your new one. That was something I really want to share with you because it is such an important issue. And right now you can see this is a bootable USB. I can insert it in any Mac and it will boot that particular Mac using Mojave. And you can do the same with Catalina or with High Sierra, with whatever you want. I'm going to ask if there are any questions. No questions? Oh, then we are doing pretty good. The other thing that is important, and let me look in my notes because I made some notes with the stuff I wanted to discuss with you. Backups we've got. M1 is pretty clear. M1 is the new ARM chip by Apple, and Intel is what we are currently on. For now, I would stay away from those M1 machines because they have nothing to offer for you unless you are a big shot video producer. They are great for that kind of stuff if you are using Final Cut Pro, but if you are using any other stuff, don't do it. Don't expect OBS to be quick on it. It isn't, because it will run in Rosetta, it will work in that emulator, and it cannot take advantage of all the new bells and whistles. So all that stuff will not be as fast as you expect it to be. Don't do it. Then I basically have told you what I wanted to tell you about Big Sur, which is most importantly how you get back. I will wait for a few moments to see if there are any questions popping up. Let me take the chat with me, hold on. Because then I can see what's happening there. And see who are there. Arman is there. Hi Arman. Daniel is there. Hi Daniel. Yeah, you're welcome, Daniel. But the Rekordbox XML is not entirely sorted out. I don't really understand or know what you mean by that. Anthony Brown. Hi Anthony. Michael Kutlich is in the chat. Nice. It looks like a busy crowd. Remember that when it comes to the Rekordbox XML, that all current versions of Rekordbox after 5.6.1 have the XML import bug. And that bug is really a problem for everybody because it doesn't reliably import your data back into Rekordbox the way you want it to. I just released yesterday 2 videos about this subject, explaining to you how you can quickly and easily import the data back in the Rekordbox 6.4 collection, for instance. If anyone is up, I can show you right here what the problem is. Because maybe some of you say, huh, XML import bug, what is he talking about? Well, let me show you, why not? I'm here anyway. Here we've got a Rekordbox collection, and let's see what we've got. Jeroen van der Boom, that is a Dutch singer, and he happens to have a track in this collection with cues, which is right now the only thing I'm interested in. There are some playlists there, it's coming from Serato, I see. But you can see all these are rec queues, which means these are processed by the Rekordbox Queue and Key tool, one of my tools that enable mixed in key queues to go inside the Rekordbox collection. And let me show you without using any tools what the Rekordbox XML import bug is. First of all, I need to know if the original is still there. And it should have, let's see. No, we are going for the Swalla track because that has some better queues. Because that only has one memory queue and one hot queue. So that is a little bit easier. So the Swalla track it is, why not? That has 2 queues. I'm quitting Rekordbox here. And now things are going to get a little bit technical here, folks. Because I'm going to show you what an XML looks like. Yay, we are going to do that. This is an XML. And if I look for the Swalla track, there it is. Then you see 2 lines here. These 2 lines, let's see if I can. Position mark, they start with position mark. You see that? And you see DDSU loop and DDSU loop there, because those are converted loops. If we do this, if we just change the name of this loop, let's call it test. And this happens to be the hot queue, or this is the memory queue. I have deleted the memory queue. So what I did is in the Swalla track, I renamed the DDSU queue test instead of DDSU queue, and I saved this. Usually, if you are in Rekordbox and you want to import this information, you go to the Rekordbox XML and you right click here, import playlist. And it says there are some playlists by the same name, that is correct. And it is done. However, let me show that even better, because maybe this is a bit confusing. So let me show you that even better. There are no playlists. And I right click import playlists, and all of a sudden all my playlists are there. It's magic. However, that queue I changed is not changed right now, because if a track is part of the Rekordbox collection, then right-clicking playlists and import playlist doesn't import the metadata. It just makes the playlists, which is fine, which is needed, but it doesn't do the metadata. For that, we need to go to the all track segment. Let me first show you. Let's find that Swalla track collection and on the Swalla track. There we are, and it will still have its own name. You see it there. And if you have used Rekordbox 5.6.0 and the moment you did this, you did import playlist, you saw it changing already. You saw it live changing right in front of your eyes. Now you have to first import the playlist because you want to have the playlist, and then you have to select all the tracks and import that to the collection. And look at right here what is going to happen there. You will see that name changing. Oh, we should look at the hot queue, by the way. Hold on. Go on. It should remove it. There it goes, because it was in the hot queue that I changed it. So now you know that the data is in. And that is a two-step process. Now, mind you, this is an empty Rekordbox collection, and this is a very small XML to import. But if you have a bigger Rekordbox collection, this can take ages. This can really take ages. And that is why I'm pressing so hard on Pioneer DJ to fix that Rekordbox XML import bug. Because to give you some indication, the ones who have seen my my workflow stream, which I streamed last weekend, my real collection is like 120,000 tracks big. And if I just want to import 50 tracks, that will take close to 1.5 hours real time. And that is because my real collection is so big, so huge. So mind you that if you have to do it twice, you have to import the playlists and then import the track info, that can really take a lot of time. And I would love them to fix that and just forget about it. Right now I try to press it. So if you want to, please help me with my cause and tell Pioneer DJ to fix it. Michael, yes, Rekordbox 6.4 is for overall an okay program. It works great. The import is still a problem, and with Rec, yes, it is working great. My biggest beef is that I find Rekordbox 6 too sluggish, too slow, too battery responding. And if I just need CDJ USBs, I need Rekordbox only to create CDJ USBs, which for some of the users of my tools is, then 5.6.0 is more than sufficient, because it will create a Rekordbox CDJ USB that will work with the CDJ 3000, with every CDJ out there. So why go to a bigger program? You don't need the subscription if you want to make CDJ USBs in Rekordbox 6. So that all works the same. Biggest problem is the sluggishness of the program. It's not as snappy as 5.6.0 is. And of course the XML import bug, which makes importing even slower than it already is in 5.6.0. So that is that. If there are no more questions, then I'm going to close the stream for today. Next week I'm going to go Denon Prime again, and what I'm going to demonstrate and going to talk about is Denon Prime on Dropbox, and I've done a stream about that already. It is still in beta as far as Denon is concerned, but it's such a nice feature. Imagine that you are on location, all you got is a Denon Go or Denon Prime 4 or whatever. You log into the Wi-Fi, you log into your Dropbox account on the Prime, and all of a sudden all your tracks are there. You don't need to carry your USB with you, you can just log into Dropbox and everything will be there. It is an amazing concept and I'm very enthusiastic about it. For me it is like the future of DJing, but I'm not only going to talk about Dropbox, I'm also going to explain to you how you can make a USB backup of that Dropbox content. So you have both. You have your Dropbox and you've got your USB with only a single preparation. So you don't have to do that double. You just have to prepare Dropbox for use on Prime, and then I will show you how you can make a USB out of that Dropbox data that will work as any regular Denon Prime performance drive. If I can do it on Tuesdays, yes, I always do them. Hold on, I can show them nowadays. There it is. Michael asked me if I can do the streams on Tuesday. My streams are always on Tuesday, Michael. That is my stream day. If I've got enough questions, and those can come in over the week from users, then I do them on Tuesday at 7 o'clock. That is my usual streaming slot. Unless, like last weekend, that was a special one because I wanted to play a little bit with... oh, let me switch back to the normal cam, by the way. Last weekend I wanted to play a little bit with the streaming service. I signed up for a multi-stream service, so I'm now on Twitch, Facebook and YouTube live at the same time. And because I wasn't sure how well it was performing, I thought, why not just stream a workflow video? It's always informative for a lot of folks just to watch my workflow and the explanation I give with it especially. And it's like a 2-hour stream, so it's a very good endurance test if the stream is stable and will make it to the end. So usually I do that on that way. Anthony, Anthony, thank you very much. That's very kind of you, sir. Yes, I try to just spread the knowledge and tell it to everybody who might have some benefit from it. So that's why I'm doing this stuff. And if it helps you out, I'm glad for that. Thank you. One thing, because Michael was talking about REC, the Rekordbox Q and Key tool, my tool to get information from mixed in key into Rekordbox. There are some things that people forget about REC that are important. REC, first of all, needs to have a beat grid. Your tracks need to be analyzed in Rekordbox in order for REC to function. And more important, your first downbeat needs to be in the correct spot. It needs to be in the correct place where the first downbeat is, because that is used as an anchor by the Rekordbox Q and Key tool to hang the rest of the cues on. So that's why it's very important that it's gridded. Now, it is very easy to forget that you have to enable the export of that information in Rekordbox, because under Advanced, right here, on the Rekordbox XML, you've got export beat grid information. And by default, it is set to no. And that means that even if you gridded it perfect, and even if you are sure that everything is in order, you export the XML, you start REC, and REC starts to complain that the tracks are not gridded. That is because the information was not exported. So always double check that indeed the BPM change points are exported, the beat grid information is exported to the XML, because otherwise REC starts to complain about the XML no matter how well you gridded it. It doesn't matter if that information is not there, it will not work. So that was just a little bonus. All right, folks, I hope to see all of you next week. In the meantime, if you have questions regarding conversions, regarding collection management, or regarding macOS in general, feel free to ask me. Just shoot them either as a message on Facebook, or send a mail, or send a comment, because I try to take as many as those questions in, which make good subjects for my streams, and at least I'm showing them stuff that people really want to see. So for now, thank you for watching. Hope to see you all next week. Mixmaster G, signing off.